Story time of strange things that happened to me when I was a child, part 2. As I stated in my previous video, I used to see my stuffed animals do strange things, as well as my Pocahontas doll that grew. I had witnesses, etc. So, after all of that happened, I decided I'm not sleeping in my room anymore. I was terrified, really. From the age of whatever the hell that was to about 16 years old, I slept in my grandmother's room. But it didn't end at the Pocahontas stuff. Things got a lot creepier. And this story, I really am looking for help because I feel like now that I'm older, it is attached to something else. But I want to hear what you think it is. So, story time part. I start sleeping in my grandmother's room, and I wake up, as I stated, between the hours of 12 midnight and 3 a.m., which now it's changed from like 2 to 5 or so. And for the most part, I can't usually fall back asleep. Between those times, I would wake up screaming at the top of my lungs, terrified. I'm not sure why. I don't recall even having dreams at all. Remembering dreams for me has always been something that was like next to impossible. Up until recently. Now I remember some of my dreams. Anyway, that's besides the point. In this specific occasion, and the other ones leading up to the age of 16 years old, I would wake up from these dreams and be in night sweats, terrified. It was to the point where I would actually wrap myself around my grandmother in fear because I didn't know what to do. So, upon waking up at this time, I would sit up straight and would just kind of, settle myself in, try to get comfortable, make sure that she was still there and that I was not alone in my room anymore. As time progressed, I started to see things in my grandmother's room. One of the main things I used to see in my grandmother's room was what looked sort of like a Rottweiler or a Doberman Pinscher. I always called it a hellhound because that's what I thought it was. All black dog, all black, no other color, all black from the top to the bottom with the pointy ears and everything, except this dog had yellow eyes. I was always afraid of it because it was always in attack stance and growling, and I thought it was looking at me the entire time. Not that long ago, this memory was reawoken in my mind, but it was kind of like me seeing it firsthand again. Really strange. Upon reliving this memory, I see the direction that the dog's eyes are looking at, and it's not at me, it's actually growling at my grandmother. My grandmother never saw this animal, never saw the dog, never saw what I could see, but would pray and start rebuking. And eventually, after an hour of her constantly praying and constantly rebuking and trying to tell me that it was okay, that I wasn't actually seeing what I was seeing, it would go away. Now, at my ripe age and having older children, they're having similar experiences. Not seeing dogs, but other things. Now, my question is, there is a certain deity that comes in, and apparently she presents herself as a dog, or she'll present herself in other forms. And I don't know if this might be related, because if it is, specifically with my last message, my grandmother was in her room in the dark, and I'm wondering if she was doing something. I know that as a child, I had a very vivid imagination, and I had stories that I would come up with, but they would all be like, I'm a princess, or I'm a queen, and my father is rich, and he has all of these things. But they were like memories to me versus imagination stories. And I remember that after a certain point in my life, I never had dreams. I could never remember anything. And it felt like I had a blockage. And I'm wondering if something was done. I say that to say this. We're generational curse breakers. And once you break a generational curse, you're free from that. So I wonder if memories coming back and being able to heal family wounds and stuff like that might be bringing back other things. I feel like a lot of things are coming to the surface. A lot of things that are healed are now making a lot more sense. With all of that being said, what do you think this dog was? Was I just making it up? Or was it something else? Could have been a demonic influence, could have been something else. I'm not sure. What are your thoughts?